What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Barry Austin Ray, B to the A to the R. Thank you for tuning in for a very special episode of Locked In. As you know, I'm always excited about what's going on here. But this is going to be a very different episode, a very serious episode, a very enlightening episode. Let me give you a little background before I introduce my guest and tell you what's going on tonight. Social media is very big. As an artist, as an actor, as a singer, as an author, everything that I do, social media plays a big part. So a couple of months ago, I was on social media, on TikTok to be exact. As I do sometime at night, to wind down, I get in my bed and I go through TikTok, and I came across a video that touched me. A young man who was an officer of the law expressed his feelings on George Floyd. I watched the video and I was definitely touched by it. I want you to check out the video for a second.
Let's talk things that happened in Minneapolis, cop standpoint, right? I am disgusted with the things that happened in Minneapolis. Period, point blank, things could have went way different. At the end of the day, let's talk facts. The guy is on the ground. He's laying on his stomach. He have handcuffs on. It's 4 of y'all, 1 of him. 4 of y'all, 1 of him. Who has control of the situation? It's not much one person could do against 4 people. Now let's get deeper, right? As an officer, you are a first responder, right? So if in the midst of you trying to gain compliance, someone is hurt, you have to render aid. So somebody's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. You don't think to yourself and say, oh my gosh, this guy can't breathe, he might die. Let me render aid, right? Another point, officers, other officers, if you're gonna be an officer that's gonna stand there and not help when things go wrong, come on, like you don't see that? That's the reason I got behind this badge, right? Because I want them officers that's afraid to step up, I want to be the one to step up. If I see wrong happening, wrong is not happening in my presence, right? I'm going to check it, and that's period.
That is the video I'm talking about. It touched me because the realness, the reality of it, and another black man stating, his feelings on it, and being in law enforcement. So time went on, and a couple of nights ago, I went back on TikTok, and I followed the individual, and he had a new video. I want you to take a look at this video.
What's going on? Y'all know I'm Officer Williams, the one who did the viral George Floyd video, right? So, being transparent with y'all, for the last 2 months, my job put me on administrative leave to do an investigation into my TikTok. After this investigation was done, which I found out today, I was relieved of my duties from that certain job. And upset, confused, I felt all the emotions. I don't know, I was just all over the place. I just really wanted to bring it to y'all because y'all been supporting me, y'all been rocking with me, and I wanted to be transparent with y'all. One thing I do know is God don't miss. God never miss. So at the end of the day, what's for me, never gonna go past me. It's never gonna miss me. And God felt like it was the need to do this right now. So just wanted to keep y'all in the loop. Yeah, thank you.
With that being said, in the time that initial video went viral, he was on administrative leave. And then after the administrative leave, the investigation was over, he was terminated from his position with the police force. So tonight, I'm honored, I'm grateful to have none other than, I already claim him as my brother, Jaquay Williams, here with us tonight. Well, I need you to give it up big. Locked in, welcome for my boy Jaquay. What's good?
What's going on? What's going on?
How are you in the midst of everything that's going on?
I'm content. I'm more focused than ever, and I'm just patient. It's a lot exactly. Going on, and and everything takes time, and I'm just going with the flow.
Excellent. All right, so there's so much to talk about, and I don't want to waste time on pleasantries and stuff like that. I watched your initial video while you were sitting in the car in your uniform and expressed your emotion and your feelings on George Floyd. When you seen the situation with George Floyd, I know you talked about it, I know everybody's seen the video. Talk to me about it now. The first time you seen it, the feelings and the passion that ran through you, that you expressed in the video. Talk to us.
So the first time I seen the video, I was angry, right? I was a police officer for a year. And already coming into policing, I already had the way that I view things. Granted, when I got into policing, I started to empathize a little bit more with the officers just to understand where they were coming from and things that, you know, and things that they do. So I'm just out in my patrol car one day. It's downtime, nothing is going on, and a lot of the George Floyd stuff is going on. And normally I stop myself from watching those type of videos because they just bother me, you know? And so I try to stay away from them, but this one just kept popping up. So I looked at it, and the anger just went through the roof. And you know how long it takes to make a TikTok. It takes about like a minute, if that. And at that time, I had previously been on TikTok for a month, right? Posting in my uniform, doing regular TikTok stuff. You know how you see the cops and they do a lot of voiceovers and, you know, funny stuff, right? It's called, they got a hashtag on TikTok called humanizing the badge, right? Just to let people know that officers have hearts too and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing. So for that month of me being on TikTok, I grew to 50,000 followers. People were in tune with what I had going on. So when I seen the video, I was angry. So with my platform, it clicked to me right then and there. I was like, I need to put this out so people can understand, you know, that it's just not one-sided. Because a lot of people probably was thinking like, you know, the officer did what he did, which he was wrong for, and they probably was thinking that every officer feels that same way. You feel what I'm saying? So I wanted to put it out there in the spirit of right in the midst of the moment. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just jump out there. I'm gonna just say what I need to say, because not only am I an officer, I'm a black man first. So I need to get this off my chest because it's bothering me. And I did it, put the video out there, and it was history after that.
Okay, let's stop right there. Okay, so much I can relate to. Being an ex-offender, being in the prison system, I understand, you know, the stigma, you know, that people tend to put on you, you know, once a convict, always a convict. So everybody thinks the same, everybody. So as you being an officer of the law, people thinking that, you know, all officers have the same mentality and the same way of doing things. So I get it. So let me ask you a question. So you have been a police officer for an entire year.
Yeah.
Had you ever had any infractions, any investigations, any late notices, anything? Talk to me.
Negative. Not one write-up, not one infraction, nothing. I've had nothing at all. Like I had nothing. So there's no paper trail that the decision of the department or anything. To be honest, I don't even know what they were initially thinking when it happened. But no infractions this entire year. I haven't even had a complaint on me. The only time I've been in internal affairs into IA was for my videos.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. How long is your probation period where you were stationed at? So
they really don't have a probation period, to be honest with you. But
okay.
normally it's like, so when you come out of the academy, you go into field training, and field training is 14 weeks. But it's no set probation period. And if it is a set probation period, I think it's like 90 days or something like that. You know, something like that.
Okay, so let's make this clear, because like some places their probation period is a year, some 2, some 3. So where you're at, there's no probation period. So
sorry for cutting you off, but
no problem.
They never signify a probation period, right? I mean, I can be wrong. If they did, even if it was a year, you don't have justified grounds to let me go over social media. You know, like we just don't.
We gonna get there. We gonna get there. So okay.
Yeah. So to correct myself, I honestly, there was no, like, you know how when you first start a job, they tell you like you got 60 days to shape up. See, they do this. That never was told. Never was told to me. Definitely never told to me. So you know.
Gotcha. All right. So you know, so for an entire year, you've had a stellar record. Never had any issues. Never been before IA. What is it again? Internal what? Affairs.
Internal affairs. Yep.
Right. Never been before them. never a situation. So you have made TikToks prior in your police uniform. It was never an issue.
Yes. So they would probably say that that's the first time they got around to it. But I mean, and not only me, it was a bunch of other officers making TikToks in their uniform and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. Because in my investigation, prior to us sitting down having this interview, which I thank you for. I know that a lot of people are hitting you up for interviews, but I thank you for entrusting the God that's in me and our 6-in-1 team and staff to sit down with us first. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Definitely.
So I get that in my investigation, the thing is, he made this TikTok in his police uniform. And that's where the violation comes in at. But like you said, hundreds of other individuals are making their TikToks in their police uniform. It's never an issue. This was not your first video, a TikTok in your uniform. However, this dealt with the current state of Black folks in America in 2020.
Yes. So I've been, to piggyback off what you were saying, I've been making, probably before that George Floyd TikTok, I had about 15 other ones, maybe even 20 other ones. Never had an issue. I've seen people posting their uniforms all the time. Everything, right? They tried to make it seem like it was, it was the posting in my uniform, which they wasn't supposed to do, which I wasn't supposed to do, and the hot buttons, like the issues that I touch on that would that can be screwed by, misconstrued by other people, right? Because everybody deals with opinions, right? So if I post a George Floyd video, you're gonna have good opinions, you're gonna have bad opinions. Not to mention 90% of the opinions was good opinions, even from other fellow officers from all over the world. But they wanted to make me understand that the city is going to view you differently, right? If you more so speaking on, I guess, leaning more towards the Black side, it's not what they said, but this is what I got from it. You leaning more towards the Black side, then maybe when you deal with a white civilian, they're going to feel that they're not going to get a fair shake. Who said that? Who said that? That's your opinion. That's opinionated. I explained that to them. I said that's somebody's opinion, right? Would have been any different. You wouldn't have had an issue because they said you should have got permission to post video and stuff. But do we ever need permission to go shoot a basketball with the kid outside so y'all could post up on the social media page and be like, oh, look, did we ever need permission for that, right? Did we ever need permission to throw the football around, to go buy lemonade from the lemonade stand? Did we ever need permission for that? I mean, granted, rules are rules and rules are in place. And I understand that, but I also feel like the actions that were taken were extreme.
You're not the only one that feels that way. Matter of fact, I have some individuals that have weighed in on the situation pertaining to you. And I just want, you to look at this and everybody that's watching take a look at this and seeing what people are saying about your situation.
What's good? It's Truly the Sound here. I just came across the video with the cop on TikTok, which is talking about how the George Floyd situation and his untimely death was handled completely incorrectly, and how he was placed on 2-month administrative leave and he ended up losing his job. I feel for my brother losing his job, but this is the point of what Black Lives Matter is all about. When corruption has this country by the throat, especially in the police force, there's no way to infiltrate and make better. When you can't even critique, when we can't even be open and honest.
Recently, it was brought to my attention 2 videos of this young brother who's a police officer. And he was sharing about the situation with George Floyd from a police officer's perspective. And listening to him speak, what he spoke about was not just his truth, but he spoke about the responsibility of police officers, whereas officers who stood around and watched this other police officer with his knee on George Floyd's neck and did nothing. This is so common among police officers, and what kills me is that it is common. Police officers are sworn to protect and to serve. How are you serving someone that's saying, I can't breathe, and you're standing there doing nothing? And he talked about how his approach would be totally opposite.
So, let me ask you a question. Let's go back to the gym.
Okay.
What made you get into law enforcement? What made you want to become a cop and pursue?
So, growing up, so I was born in Newark, New Jersey. I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, right? So growing up in the city that I was from, we disliked police officers, right? Even as a younger, even as a younger child, we were taught to dislike police officers, you know, from the guys who we perceived to be cool that hung out at the park, the older guys, you know, you shouldn't mess with them. You shouldn't mess with 12, you know, stuff like that or whatever. So for a long time, we just didn't, we didn't get along, but we used to have SROs inside the school, like school resource officers, which were police officers from the city's police department. And they were always cool. They were like father figures. They'd come to the basketball games, like they were there for us. So that kind of like swayed some of my thoughts on police officers. And then around the time that the thing happened around the time the Trayvon Martin incident happened, I felt like we needed to get to the bottom of it, like, because it was happening so much, and I was just like, what exactly is going on, right? So maybe I can get in the inside and figure out what's going on to stop, to help prevent anything that I can prevent. And my whole focus was bridging the gap between our community and police, because that trust there is broken. There's no trust there, right? It's like a relationship. If you don't have no trust there, then you don't have anything. And that trust between Black people and police officers wasn't there. And my whole year being a Black police officer and working in a predominantly Black neighborhood, I always would ensure the person that I'm dealing with, I always laid it out for them, like, all right, look, this is what we got here, right? I'm not going to blindside you. This is what's going to go on. These are the rules. This is that. And I always talk to them. Like, it's been plenty of people that I just let go and I just gave them conversation, like, look, it's not set up for us out here to win. So I need you to, focus and stop giving them reason to stop you for, and stop giving them this and that or whatever. Like, just not adding more fuel to the fire, but still maintaining your integrity and being who you are and stuff like that. So, but back to your question, the main reason I became a police officer was to bridge that gap between our community and, the Black people. I had a dad who, my dad grew up in the prison system, right? Ever since I was a little boy. So I think my dad been out of jail like maybe 7 years total of my entire life. So you get what I'm saying? So it's a bit different. I view things differently, right? I'm from a different area. I empathize with our people differently because I know the struggle that we came from. And I wanted to let them know, like, look, there's another person out here that's the same color as you, look the same way, and he has that badge on. Anything is possible. So,
well, first of all, let me just say I commend you. First and foremost, hearing what your father went through as far as his incarceration and the time that he was absent out of your life, and the fact that you became a police officer, which clearly means that you kept a level of accountability, lack of trouble, because you can't get into the academy with a history of trouble and arrest and conviction and stuff like that. That's very rare, for a Black man in our age bracket. So I want to say I commend you, and coming from where you did, I know the area well, so I know the things that go on and the ills and the pressures of just following the status quo of what's already being, presented. So I commend you.
Definitely, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's get a little personal too. How old are you?
29.
29. Married, single, children, what? Talk to us.
Married, 2 kids.
Married, 2 kids. How old are your children?
9 and 3.
So you are the provider for your children and your household, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So how is this right now affecting you mentally? The fact that you have been released from your job for this injustice, and I'm calling it an injustice. What's running through your mind right now?
I'm kind of at ease, and I feel like the reason I'm at ease is because God set up things and He do things for a reason, right? And I know for sure I'm never gonna be put in a situation that I can't get through. Also, for a long time, I've been wanting to open a food cart, right? I'm from up north, like food carts is everything. I want to open the food cart, right? And a month and a half ago, I did just that. So I've been working my food cart on my days off, and I've been doing better than what they paid me to put a badge, a gun, and a vest on. I just needed more time to do it so I can actually see some, the benefit from it or whatever. So, with that in place, and I know that I can put the full-time hours I was putting into policing to that, I'm kind of at ease. If that wasn't in place, I'd be still at ease in a sense, but I'd be like kind of like, all right, what's next? I got to do this. I'm still like that too as well though. But for the most part, I'm just at ease right now. I'm content with what's going on. I know I didn't get like dishonorably discharged, like a fire like that, so I can go. It's been other police departments that have been reaching out to me like, look, come here. We'll make it happen. And it's just like, I don't even think I want to get back behind the badge, to be honest. Like,
okay,
so that's the way I'm feeling right now.
Let's talk about that for a minute. So this is going on where you're at. You've been fired. You've been relieved of your duties. However, other police departments are saying, come over here. What is that saying to you? What is that saying, not only to you, but to America and everybody that's watching and listening about where you're at and what they did and for their stand? Talk to me, because like I said, this is about this. We're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it above, no cap. Let's talk.
Yeah. It's telling me that they know that they was wrong. That everybody looking in like, all right, that's harsh. Like that's wrong. Like you have no paper trail. You go from one extreme to another extreme to let me go completely no write-up, right? You didn't decide to give me a write-up. You didn't even decide to suspend me for 80 hours or 40 hours. You didn't do none of that. You just was like, yeah, I think this is kind of, and you know what I think made that, put that into place? I believe like gaining the platform that I gained, right? Because then my TikTok is like 220,000 people. The Instagram went to 30,000 people. So that platform made them feel like this is inside this guy. He's going to keep talking out on the wrong, and we just not with it. So if we not with it, we just going to remove him from the position so it won't come back bad on us. Like, but for the most part, it made it seem like to me that everybody, that the other people looking in like, yo, that's wrong,
So is it safe to say that this system that is supposed to correct, that's supposed to help correct situations, right in situations that are wrong, that when it's within house, they don't want the truth?
So
when it's dealing with, talk to me.
So okay, right. I got one of my guys he's dealing with the same thing right now, right? He's a white officer, right? One of my boys. Dealing with the same thing right now. We took off on social media at the same time, whatever. His stuff is in process right now. I don't know what they're going to do with him, right? But I mean, it'd be amazing to see exactly what they do, because now you got two people, different nationalities, different races, and do we get two different answers, or do we get to it, or do we get one of the same answer? You know, so that's
Right.
gonna really be able to see the motive behind, the motive behind things and stuff like that or whatever. But I just don't know. To be honest, I don't know how the system is set up. To be honest, right? Like, you think you know enough when they give you like these gigantic books that got these laws in it and these directives that say this is how it's going to go and this is how it's going to go. But to be honest, you never really know. I sat there and received my termination and was like, I was still lost. I'm like, really? What? What's what y'all doing? Like, so, to be honest, I honestly don't know how that system is functioning.
So I already know my stand on it. So basically, is it safe to say that there are two sets of rules? There's that book that you have, you know what I mean, these guidelines and these bylaws. However, when it comes to us, they're subject to change based on how they feel about the situation.
I definitely feel like things are, with Black people in general, I definitely feel like things is driven towards us different, right? It's like going into a job interview and you got two resumes there and you got one that say Alexa Smith and then you have one that say Shaniqua Williams, right? That person, 9 times out of 10, if it's, you would think that it's a fair shake, right? But it's not always a fair shake. Some people give them a fair shake, but it's not always a fair shake. They'd be like, and not only just, they'd be like, all right, well, I don't want that name sound ghetto, right? I don't know what type of energy that name is going to bring here. Let's just go with this, right? So
Right.
At the end of the day, I feel like, and that's what I was telling them too, I feel like just in general, Black people are treated differently in any setting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are treated differently in any setting. And that's kind of something that I feel like that they was kind of upset about. But I mean, it's the truth. We are treated different in any setting. Like, sometimes, you got the little percentage that treat us maybe the same, but we treat it differently. And that's with jobs, and that's with anything, social gatherings, whatever.
So let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Before this video, before George Floyd, before you saw this video of Case Smith, everything we've been dealing with, Will Smith, shout out to Will Smith, he said something that was so profound. He said, racism is not anything new. We just have cell phones and cameras.
Exactly.
So everything is going on.
Exactly.
With that being said, prior to this, you coming across this video, and I'm just dealing with 2020 right now. Dealing with COVID, dealing with what we've been dealing with as far as the fight for equality. What has ran through your mind? You being a Black man, a father of 2 Black children, talk to me. Talk to me about the before the George Floyd video and your video going viral, and then after. Talk to me.
So, I mean, before the George Floyd video, that was around the time because once I started policing, I stopped watching videos that was when harm, showing harm done to us as Black people, right? And
why?
Because
Why
it
did you
just
stop watching the video?
it bothered me. I couldn't sit there. It's like okay, a new movie about to come out, right? And a new movie, it's another slave movie. How many times we gonna keep doing it? It's bothering me now, right? To see what we go through. You watch something, I literally watch stuff, movies and stuff like that. Let's just say it's taken back in slavery time, right? And I'm infuriated. I'm just is this serious? They didn't have no control back then. They treated us the way that they wanted to treat us, stuff like that or whatever. And I knew my purpose before even accepting the badge. I knew my purpose. I knew I was meant for the masses. I knew I was meant for people to hear my message for the masses because I've been doing music since 8 years old. All my music is conscious, is thought-provoking. I know where I was on my road to, right? And I felt like, I could mix the two together and basically, get further what I was doing or whatnot. But before the pre-George Floyd thing, to be honest, is there really a pre-George Floyd thing? Like, we go through this all the
really
time.
not.
It's no pre-George Floyd
Exactly.
thing. We go through this all the time. Every time we dealing with this. I remember back in 2015, I forget what was happening at that time, but again, another one of us was killed, murdered, and I remember the tension was still the same way with the cops. I wasn't a police officer back then, obviously, but I remember being pulled over, and I'm leaving out of one city, about to go into another city, and I remember the cop get behind me, and I'm thinking to myself that I'm like, he don't have no jurisdiction into the city, so why is he jumping behind me, right? That's me being ignorant. I can explain that later. So he jumps behind me, right? And the moment he walks up to the window, I just give him a bunch of crap. I'm just like, why are you stopping me? Blah, blah, you know, stuff like that or whatever. And he looked at me and he was like, look, man, I can't really say I understand what you're going through, but I can let you know that I'm not the problem. And he sent me on my way and didn't give me a ticket or nothing like that or whatever. But I was angry. That just shows you that this was going on forever. It was going on forever. It's like it repeated itself over and over and over. It's like, how many times are we gonna keep having to lash out to the point where to get y'all to listen to us, right? So to be honest, there's no pre-George Floyd thing. It's been going on forever. It's just been having high points and it's been having low points, you know? So as a black man, I always felt some type of way, even receiving the badge, because I remember just being in the academy, I used to argue with all the other recruits when we used to talk about cases like Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, stuff like that. And I used to argue with them and we get into arguments, and they knew, like, well, we're not about to bother with William because we already know his stand on stuff. But yeah, because you don't understand, and a lot of people are talking on things before they have the full understanding of it, right? That's what I told people when I was on Tamron Hall. I said, our biggest thing for these police officers to do is to educate themselves so they can begin to empathize with the people. That's how I led. I led like that. I was like, I'm already educated enough when it comes to my people, right? So by default, I'm going to empathize with them, period. And when I meet somebody else that's not of, African-American descent, I educate myself on their story before, I do anything, before I do any further action, so I can empathize with them. It's simple, like, knowing what you have in your hand when you walking into the door, right? You don't just walk in there blind with the lights off. Like, at least I want to turn one light on so I can see, all right, this is the way I can go this way, stuff like that. But like I said, there was never a pre-George Floyd time because it's been happening to us. It's been happening to us forever. After being a police officer, being sworn in, I still felt the same way. It just, a lot of things just didn't feel right? And I would have to tell myself, your purpose is bigger. You gotta go. You here for a reason. God put you here for a reason, right? You have a purpose here, right? If he allowed me to finish this police academy and graduate, heck, I was the guy who gave the speech at the police academy. They chose me to give the talk at the police academy, right? To over 500 people, the chief at the time and other officers. And in my speech, I got a copy of it. And my speech was basically me telling them.
Not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
So you was the valedictorian.
Facts. Yep. And I gave the speech, right? And they chose people to do well. With a police graduation, they feel like somebody who's well spoken and could get the message across. They choose them to give the speech, right? So they gave me the opportunity to get the speech, which was one of the best things that I did, to be able to speak to the fellow officers that was graduating with me that day, to let them know, like, don't lose yourself out here, right? Tears were shed, we cried. It was a good feeling. It was like, I felt like I educated them enough so they can get to the point where, like, all right, like, we gonna go out here and we gonna lead a different way. Granted, you get out there and you get jaded by some things, you start doing different things, whatever. But I was the one who gave the speech, and my whole basis of my speech was, don't lose yourself out here with that badge on. Don't lose yourself. Just know, it comes off, right? Everybody crying in the audience. Black people, brown people, white people. I had white people walking up to me like crying with tissues. That touched me. Like, this is real. Like, you know, so after I became an officer, I just knew like my purpose was bigger. It was little things like that just kept pointing me in the right direction, just saying like, look, your purpose bigger. You know, you out here for a reason. Reach the youth that you could reach and stuff like that or whatever, and reach the adults that you could reach too, you know, because your purpose is much bigger or whatnot.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. I threw that out there for a reason. I thank you for being conscious enough to grasp that there is no pre-George Floyd, you know, era. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time.
Exactly.
I'm just like, I'm in awe, you know, learning right now that you were the valedictorian of the Academy graduation, that you were handpicked over, you said 500 individuals?
Well, it's smaller, much smaller down here. That was the crowd that was there. So it was like 600 people there. We graduated a class of only 30 people. So they give out certain awards and stuff like that. And one of my best friends, who is a white female, they give this award. I forget what the award is called, but it's like the highest honor. She had like the highest grades inside the class and stuff like that. And that was my road dog, man. Her sat next to each other. I mean, she upset that they did this to me now, like, you know, like, and she, like, it's just, you know, it's just like back to them, you know, them choosing me. You chose me for a reason. Not only that, I was about to forget, not only that, once the new police academy class came in, the first day they stepped foot inside that police training building, an email was sent to my sergeant from the training facility sergeant. Hey, is Williams busy at this time to this time? I need him to come speak to the new recruits. They already knew what I was, you know, they already knew what I was capable of, you know? And I went in there and I spoke to the new recruit, you know? So.
And after this video went viral, over 1 million views, none of that had any substance about this whole controversy with this. Not that I'm like I said, I don't feel it was a controversy because you spoke the truth. You was very articulate. You wasn't, you know, but none of that came into play during this 2-month suspension and this investigation. None of that came into play.
No, like, okay, for example, the people at the training academy is separate. They're separate from the people outside. They're all officers. It's the same, but they're separate from what they handle, whatever. So the people at the training academy, I just spoke to one of them, a black sergeant, yesterday. And he was like, man, you know, it's messed up. He was like, keep your head up, whatever you need from me, you know, I got you and stuff like that. So their views on me is still the same. It's the people who never dealt with me, who didn't have that, who didn't have that previous 6 months with me going through the academy.
I get that. But however, your track record, all this stuff has been documented. All this stuff has followed you. So that you mean to tell me that none of this stuff holds any substance right now?
Nothing held nothing. Nah, I don't think nothing held nothing. Like I left out that thing. Like, did any of my direct supervisors fight for me? Y'all know what I'm about out here, right? And nothing at all. So nothing. So go ahead. What'd you say?
How is your family holding up to all this?
I mean, they're cool, but they're upset and they want to see something done. So, you know, because if we just sweep it under the rug, it's going to allow them to do it to more officers, more and more, you know? So if it's something that can be fought, I don't want the job back, you know, and it's over. I don't want the job back. Like, but if it's something that can be fought, then, you know, we go to the end fighting it and figure out there.
I definitely believe that there's something that can be done. Real talk. Let's switch gears for a second.
Okay.
So you've been doing music since you was 8 years old. You are a rapper, correct?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So I've been doing music since I was 8. I remember like Bow Wow days, right? You know, so I'm only 29, so I remember like Bow Wow days. When Bow Wow, I remember what the first thing that clicked to me. I remember when I used to see, I forget what video it was. In all the videos, Bow Wow used to have all the girls chasing him through like the malls, chasing them, getting into like these drop tops and stuff like that or whatever. And, you know, being young and naive, I'm like, that's what I want, right? I didn't know that me wanting that was going to grow this love that I have, you know, that I have for music. So I remember coming to my dad. He had just came home too at this time. And I was like, I want to write music. And I remember he told me his best friend, Jeremiah, which we called the Money. He told me, he like, yo, Money, write music, go talk to him. So I spoke to him and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get everything linked up for you. I'm gonna get you in the studio. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I said, okay. So at that time, going into in school or whatever, the older, like the fifth graders and stuff like that, they used to battle on like this little, they had like a colorful map of the United States in the playground. And the fifth graders used to always battle over there, right? And I remember looking at them, I want to do that. And at this time, I think I was in like the third grade, I believe. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I went back to Money, spoke to Money, and Money wrote my first rap. And I memorized it young, I'm 8, right? So I memorized it over and over and over that weekend, went back, and then battled one of the guys. And he was like, oh, that's a third grader. So then after that, everybody wanted to rap with me, right? So now I had to go back and Money had to actually show me how to structure and break down bars and do stuff like that or whatever. And mind you, I'm 8 years old and I'm sucking all this in. At that time, I was getting paid $5 for allowance every Friday, right? So as the time passed on, I would save up $5 until I got to $15. And I remember going to a beauty supply store and they had a radio in there. It had the cassette player, and then it had the speaker all connected together. It was just one cassette player and one speaker. And you can record yourself. And I remember I had a yellow notepad at that time. And I remember I would play beats from Sycamore that my dad bought for me. He used to always buy me the CDs from downtown for like $5. I'll play beats from Sycamore off of another speaker and create songs and then rap it over that and then have like a little tape, you know? So those were like my really early years or whatnot, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then, so at that time, my dad had married my stepmother and she had 2 daughters and both her daughters could sing really good, like really sing. Like, so I remember, you know, just, I was surrounded around music super early or whatnot. And then after that, I just built on and on. And I remember my dad used to have me battle older guys on a block, right? You know, or just bring me out to, you know, for them to hear me rap. Like it's been numerous times I rapped for people on the phone while my dad was locked up that was doing life. And every time my dad called me, they wanted me to rap for them, right? You know, so music been inside me, you know, forever, right? And then I just grew, and then it went to where I'm at now.
So is this something that you pursued? Are you going to be putting out a project?
Music is numero uno. Music is the first love. Music is numero uno. So I'm all over everywhere now. So I'm Spotify, Apple, all that. I released a project in February called Trap Job. It's an EP. It's 5 songs. With my consciousness on trap style beats, right? People love it. Before that, last year, I released a project called Subconscious. I mean, that just tell you what it is about there. I think it's about like 11 songs or whatnot on there. But I have over like hundreds of songs on these platforms. I've been putting out music forever. Of course, if you looked at my page, any of you see like I remix stuff all the time. Like it's what I do. It's a specialty of mine. People love it. People throw out instrumentals for me to remix all the time or whatever, right? You know, they love that I have that talent and I love to be able to share that talent with them. So I mean, you know, I just do it all the time, but music is number one. You see the studios behind me. I moved from New Jersey. I moved from New Jersey to Atlanta to pursue this music. And when I was in Atlanta, I didn't really have studios to go to. So I taught my own self how to mix, how to master and stuff like that. So everything that I've been putting out for the last literally 5 years has been recorded, mixed, and mastered by me. You know, I even started dabbling on beats and doing my own beats and stuff like that. So, you know, like, I'm just kind of like, right now, I'm the full package, right? You can just get up and go into the studio, you got an idea, and then put it down, and then put it out there for the world, you know? So that's where I'm at with the music now.
Excellent. Well, we definitely looking to hear some of that and get that out to the nations. And we, you know, maybe, you know, 6 and 1 and you need to collaborate on some stuff.
Definitely.
We'll talk about that. You know, do me a favor, tell the people where they can follow you, where they can find you.
So every social media, I'm on social media at Wolfgang Joc. So WOLFGANGJOC at Wolfgang Joc. Only on TikTok is at Wolfgang Joc 1, but everywhere else is at Wolfgang Joc. Spotify, iTunes, Instagram, everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Wolfgang Joc.
Before we sign up, there's something else I want to talk about.
Okay.
I touched on it. You know, you are a husband, you are a father, you are the provider of your household and your family. I know that you have other things going. You have the food truck, music is out and coming, stuff like that. We're not going to divulge into your personal situation financially. I just want to, 6 and 1 wants to be a blessing. And I know that, and I believe that because of the situation that you're dealing with, there's other individuals out there that want to be a blessing to you as well. I believe that one of the ways we're going to overcome this situation and get the equality is we support individuals that look like they have the same color skin as us, the same color hue. So I want to put that out there, and I know there's some people out there that's willing to partner with this young man financially and so into his life and everything that he's doing, the injustice that he's going through. I know there's going to be some swing of the situation, whether there's lawyers involved. If it's no more than, you know, like I said, taking care of his family. I want folks to sew in, and I want folks to help this man not go under, but continue to succeed and to strive and to go higher and higher. You have a GoFundMe, you have a PayPal,
so we got to GoFundMe up right now and whatever. I mean, like you said, we can never be so sure. Granted, I do have a little hot dog food cart, but you know, I'm in the beginning stages of things or whatever. So, you know, I'm still building, you know, and I just keep my faith hard. Definitely got a Cash App, PayPal, all that. The Cash App is WGJOC, WG as in Gary, JOC. And then, you know, the GoFundMe is in the link in my bio of my Instagram.
And we will have that information on here as well. Please support my brother. Like I said, support him. Your feedback is definitely warranted and needed in this situation because this situation is far from over. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And if it happens to him, it can happen to you. So let's come together as united force, you know, not just for him, but also just to prevent it from ever happening again. My brother, I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for taking time out to be with us, to share your story here on Locked In. Like I said, you know, Locked In 6 and 1 staff, we support you, we're here for you. Anything we can do to help, you know, bring this situation to a resolution, beneficial on your behalf and in your part, we're here for it.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. I thank you all for tuning in for this special edition of Locked In. Like I said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Follow my boy, check him out, support him, sow into his life, sow into everything that he's doing. I tell you, it will come back double fold. I thank you again. It's your boy B to the A to the R, and tonight we got Locked In. I appreciate you. Till the next time.
Thank you, man.
I saw the video by the gentleman who identifies himself as Wolfgang Joe on TikTok. I believe that he appropriately used his First Amendment's rights to free speech, to share his concerns, and to offer a very valid and clear understanding of the role of the police officer. I believe that he was unjustly relieved of his duties, and I hope that there will be some rectification of this and restoration of his job.
Hi, my name is Scott Troublefield, and I'm here to discuss about the officer who gave his opinion about the George Floyd situation. I saw the first video, then I saw the second video where, unfortunately, he was fired for giving his opinion about the George Floyd situation. In my opinion, I think that's utterly ridiculous. First of all, isn't this America? Don't you get your First Amendment rights where you can say and think as you want to think? Why? Because he's an officer in a uniform, he shouldn't speak his mind about a situation that's obvious to all of us was ridiculous. The man sat there on his neck, on George Floyd's neck, and it took forever to get these guys arrested. We still got a situation where Breonna Taylor's officers have yet to be arrested or yet to be indicted. Come on, this system is rigged. In case we haven't learned that yet, the system is definitely rigged. This officer should not be fired for giving his First Amendment rights and opinion.
I don't feel he should have been relieved of his duty or investigated. He just appears to be a gentleman expressing himself about an incident that the world saw. Everyone in the world saw what happened to George Floyd, and if you have any heart, I'm an officer. That broke my heart. I just couldn't imagine putting my knee on someone's neck. We, as an officer, we get in very traumatic situations, situations that has escalated. For Officer Williams just to express himself about what he felt, I don't think his department it was warranted to be relieved of his duties. I believe it should be reinstated and we should be marching.
Six and One Entertainment, we all been running.